All right. So the last time we talked, I spoke about mental health and my mental health a lot, and kind of specifically about how I'm working on changing up all my medication and stuff, and how I can feel kind of my unmedicated brain creeping back in. And in a way, I kind of want to continue that conversation today. So let me put some obligation on myself. If you missed that episode, I'm going to put it up it'll be probably this corner if I remember correctly. One of the ways that my chronic depression manifests itself is within kind of an inability to focus on things. I would say almost to a level of ADHD. Yeah, that's how I would explain it. I don't know. So either I have zero motivation to like do anything or like move, like just do anything, or I get like almost manically so excited to work on so many different things at the same time that I bounce between them and never get anything done on any of them. And that's like, if I can even make any progress at all, it's usually doesn't happen. So this is one of those things that I noticed started happening again, was that my brain started like having all of these crazy ideas and just bouncing back and forth between them, like all good ideas that I want to work on, and like stuff, and I just wanted to do all of it. And it has basically kind of resulted in like almost nothing being completed in the last couple weeks. Like all of my progress has basically almost been halted, which is frustrating. But like I recognize that it's happening, which is what's more important, is to know and understand that it's happening, and that we can do something about it, right? Because it's not possible to improve a situation if I'm unwilling to even acknowledge or see that a problem is happening, right? At this point, I have a conundrum. So my real goal in all of this everything is that I want to make games. Yes, there are applications I want to make. There's some stuff that I think would be fun, but my real end goal is like, I want to build video games. I want to make games. I want to design them. Like I want to hire people to do the things that I suck at, like art. So, you know, my goal is essentially like, I want to do the designing, I want to do the developing, some of the programming, and I want to hire people to do the stuff that I can't do, like animation and art. And, you know, maybe over time I get less crap at it, but I don't care. Like it gives me, I would rather showcase someone else's amazing art than to do my crappy art. Although there is some appeal about just like making a game that has like intentionally crappy art, because I know I'm crappy at it and like I don't care, and that would just kind of make it funny, like in a weird, you know, artsy avant-garde way, is like, yes, I'm an intentionally bad artist because I'm not good at art, but I'm going to do it anyway because I don't care, and either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it, and I don't know. So that is an avenue that is worth addressing at some point in time, but that's not where I'm sitting right now. Kind of where does that leave us in this grand scheme of things? I've been talking about a lot of stuff, but where does this all come in, right? I want to do designing and programming, and I want to make games. But a lot of what I've talked about and mentioned here before is that been like considering using something like Unity or Godot instead of JavaScript, which I think about JavaScript when I was talking about like my goals for the year. And I mentioned using Unity or Godot or something to do the applications that I had ideas to do. And like those thoughts have been creeping in a major way for the past few weeks. And that's part of the whole, like, I can't focus on one thing. So my brain's going out to all, oh, we could do this and this and this and this and this all at the same time. So I hit a dilemma in all of this. Like, do I stick on the path that I'm on of using JavaScript and building stuff for multi-platform distribution and use, or do you focus on the tools that I know I want to eventually use to make games? And this is one of my chronic problems, is that I constantly feel like I'm spinning my wheels because I can't make these choices. And as soon as I make one of the choices and try to stick with it, my brain starts coming up with reasons to do other choices. And I, again, bounce back and forth and never make any real progress. So I keep finding reasons to postpone and keep finding excuses to do, like, oh, I just want to learn this one more thing before I really start. Sound familiar? I feel like we've talked about this before, right? So whenever something like this presents itself, there's always this huge debate and battle in my head about if I'm wasting my time, am I being too precious and falling victim to sunk cost fallacy? Like, I've put all of this work into JavaScript or Swift UI or whatever, and I need to use that instead of this other thing I want to use. And is it just distracting me from the end goal? Yeah, just lots of questions, lots of doubt. But at the end of the day right now, I feel like the decision that is the best one to make is one that would make some of the stuff I've talked about in some of the last couple of videos obsolete in a weird way. So we're going to talk about something, not today, we're going to talk about something soon about the idea of themes, and like yearly themes and seasonal themes. And I'm going to do that in a future video, because I do want to talk about that, like kind of how I structure things and how I think about long-term plans as opposed to short-term goals. So that is a topic for a future video that will be coming up relatively soonish. And so we get to this part of the dilemma, this part of the theme, right? That if the number one goal of starting a software company is that, I want to be like, I do want to make software, but I specifically want to make games. And yes, there's some other apps and stuff I want to make. I've talked about a few of them before already, but what I really want to do is make games. So for me, it's about sitting down and being honest and saying, I don't want to use JavaScript to make games. I don't want to use Swift and iOS AppKit to make games. At the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that I want to work with something like Unity or Godot or even Unreal. Like, Unity is by far the smarter choice, since it's used by like a bajillion people, and there's tutorial and assets and all kinds of stuff made for Unity, and it uses C#. So there's kind of nothing you can't use for it. But at the end of the day, for me, it's like, there's just this thing about Godot. I just like working in Godot. All the tutorials and all of the stuff I've done in it so far just makes more sense to me than Unity does. I enjoy working with it, so I feel like I want to honestly give it a go. And that I feel like I wouldn't personally be genuine to my true goals at the end of the day if I don't give Godot a serious shot and a serious look at it achieving the things that I want and what I'm trying to do at the end of the day. There's a channel called GD Quest. They do tutorials and stuff like that. I will link them down below and maybe in the DLE that's probably over this way, we think. And if not, I'll flip myself around and be ridiculous. They have some educational stuff in the works, teaching how to use Godot, teaching how all of it works. And I've done some of it, but like I've backed some of the stuff on Kickstarter a while ago, and it's starting to be released. So it's like that's the stuff I want to focus on, is like learning Godot, working with Godot, and using it as a tool as opposed to like, I don't know, whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's do it. I kind of want to do this in the form of like a 100-day challenge. That's like kind of all the rage right now. So yeah, we're gonna kind of structure some stuff out and work on learning Godot over the course of the next 100 days, which should take us into summer. And the goal is to kind of at the end of each week have stuff to show off. So we'll see. That'll be, might be a part of each one of these videos, or it might be its own little separate extra video. I don't know. Maybe it'll be shorts. Maybe it'll go on Twitter. Maybe it'll go, who knows, right? That's half the fun. So yeah, 100 days of Godot. Got a lot of stuff that I can pull from to learn. Got a lot of interesting stuff that I wanna mess with. I think I know kind of the first. I definitely want to make the Aurebesh thing out of it, because that's, you know, proof of concept of sorts. It's like just kind of like a little card game or whatever. That shouldn't be too hard to pull off. And then there's some ideas that I have for everyone. Kind of starts with a platformer game, and I have some ideas to make platforming that's more interesting, and that I have some ideas on. So that's what we're going to approach first. That's what we're going to tackle first. So yay. Fun stuff. I do have a project that I'm starting to work on about like kind of home office-ish stuff. That's a hard thing to say. So I'm going to do that. I'll probably throw together something for that too, kind of explaining what I'm thinking about and my goals that are like that stuff's further down the road. That's going to be like in August is the earliest kind of that stuff is going to start coming together, but we'll see. All right, so for now I'm gonna take off, and I appreciate you joining me here. Let me know the stuff that you're working on, stuff you're having trouble with, debates you always have with yourself. Let me know about those down below in the comments. That's what those are for. And if you would rather talk on Twitter, you can find me over on Twitter at Chop the Viking. Subscribe if you want to keep this conversation going. If you really like the YouTube goblins, hit like, and I will see you next time. Peace. So, go Cloud9.